I'm not a lawyer, but let me tell you about the letter that Fani Willis just sent to Jim Jordan. Some background before we get into it. The letter was sent from Fani Willis, who is the district attorney of Fulton County, and she's the one who filed the RICO charges against Donald Trump and 18 other co-defendants. Now, Fani sent the letter to Jim Jordan, and Jim Jordan is a congressman from Ohio, and he's the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee. He's also a Trump ally. In case you're wondering, the House Judiciary Committee oversees and ensures justice is served within federal courts, federal agencies, and federal law enforcement entities. Everything that they do is on a federal level, nothing related to state, all federal. So on August 24th, Jim sends a letter to Fani, and the point of his letter is to announce that he and the committee would be investigating the 41-count indictment that Fani filed against Trump and his 18 other co-defendants. He says they're going to be looking into this because he says Fani is using state law to prosecute federal officials. And so since she's crossed the federal line, this case is now his business and the business of the committee. Number two, he says it seems like Fani is doing this to try to interfere with the 2024 election, and that prosecuting federal officials, in particular a previous and currently running candidate, may impact how future presidents do their job or vote on certain laws because they may be scared that they may be charged with a crime from a state. Third reason that Jim gives, he says that Fulton County receives funding from Congress and that Congress has the right to know how the county spends that money and if any of that money has been used on this case. And the last reason Jim gives is that he says Fani's case has so much crossover with the federal indictment that was filed by special counsel Jack Smith. He has an interest to understand if Fani collaborated with Jack Smith at all on this indictment. So Jim ends his letter telling Fani that she needs to produce a number of documents by September 7th at 10 a.m. Okay, so then September 7th comes, and instead of sending over the documents that Jim has requested, Fani sends him her own letter. The letter has a lot in it. I'm just going to highlight the funny, disrespectful stuff. Fani starts off telling Jim that his letter is an attempt to obstruct a Georgia criminal proceeding and that there is no justification in the Constitution for Congress to interfere with a state's criminal case as he's trying to do. From there, she starts to address his request for her to produce all those documents. She explains that in order for Congress to demand she produce any documents from an ongoing case, there are certain requirements and standards that have to first be met. And according to her, it is clear that he cannot satisfy any of these constitutional requirements, let alone all of them. Then she tells this man, your job description as a legislator does not include criminal law enforcement. Okay, so then in point 2, she starts off saying that while she can legally ignore his letter, she's going to voluntarily respond to some parts of it. And she does by saying, Chairman Jordan, I tell people often, deal with reality or reality will deal with you. It is time that you deal with some basic realities. She says, here is another reality you must face. Those who wish to avoid felony charges in Fulton County should not commit felonies in Fulton County. This next part, she says that his letter makes clear that he lacks a basic understanding of the law, its practice, and the ethical obligations of attorneys general and prosecutors specifically. And then says, for a more thorough understanding of Georgia's RICO statute, its application, and similar laws in other states, I encourage you to read RICO state by state. As a non-member of the bar, you can purchase a copy for $249. Now, y'all, outside of directing a member of Congress to go buy a book off Amazon for $249, let me tell you why this particular part is really funny. Because Jim Jordan went to law school, but apparently he's never passed the bar. I don't know if he took the test and failed or if he never took the test, but it's pretty widely known that Jim Jordan has never passed the bar. Okay, back to the letter. Towards the end of the letter, she starts to address Fulton County's funding. She attaches a document that includes a summary of the programs funded by federal dollars and tells him one of the programs that the funding went towards was for long neglected sexual assault kits. And I'm just going to pause right here because I need you to see this to understand this. She then ends the letter giving him some suggestions on how he and the committee can engage in productive legislative activity and lists out programs that they can help support.